Guys, I'm back with another sloppy ass video. Today I'm going to be ranking every single character in Deadlock's laning phase. I'm Guy with a mustache. I'm sitting right around rank 930 at Infernus 4 right now. That's the third highest rank in the game. I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything. But, you know what? Let's just get right into it right after I explain to you how I'm going to be rating these characters. Okay, so rather than just yap out of my ass, for, the next 30 minutes or so, I decided let's make some metrics for what will make a character a good laner. A strong gun, good amount of sustain built into their kit, or easily abusable. So we're looking at things like Mystic Regen, Resto Shot, Life Strike, Melee Lifesteal, that kind of thing. Movement built into their kit, Lash Grapple, Celeste Natural Movement, and now Punish is this really kind of weird thing that I thought of. It's just an ability that is either really hard to punish from yourself, i.e. Abrams pin, Billy 1 or Billy blasted, or an ability that can really punish an opponent. So an ability like McGinnis wall is another example of that. So just like this kind of weird niche category, but I figured it would actually be pretty important. And then burst. We don't need to talk about burst. Lash, slam, Billy, whatever. Yeah. Let's first get into Abrams. Abrams, surprisingly enough, is going to be that S tier, or that A tier rather. Abrams has a fine gun, really good built-in sustain. Double check mark there. Fine movement, like pin is technically movement, so like it's like kind of an X, but like not really. He has really good punish with pin and really good burst with pin. So now he's 3 out of 5, so like arguably he should be S tier, but his bad matchups are really bad for him. So anything that can poke from this really far range, the Vindictas, the Talons, the Bebops, like just really, really hurt as Abrams. Apollo is going to be S plus tier. Like, he has a bad gun, whatever, who cares. Really good sustain, really good movement, really good punish with parry. Like, his 2 is the punish, his 3 is the sustain, his 3 and his 1 are the movement, and pretty good burst with 1. I think it's 130 with a point into it without any spirit investment. And like, I guess the 3 is kind of like sustained burst, which is something that I just made up that doesn't actually exist because I'm yapping out of my ass again. Next up, we have Bebop. And I think I'm going to put him in the A tier. He has like a fine gun, no sustain built in, but Life Strike is strong on him. I've seen Life Strike rushes for uppercut. Very good. Pretty poor movement. Very low base stamina. So honestly, let's make that an X. But really good punish. Really good punish. Hook uppercut is insane punish potential. And then insane burst with if you're rushing spirit items. Now, most Bebops nowadays are going, extra stamina, sprint boots, life strike, or something like that, where we're just going green items early and then we'll worry about our purple items later because we don't really care about getting damage in lane. We're really worried about, starting to build up our bomb stacks in lane. But overall, I think he's an A tier character just because of the hook uppercut combo. And plus, uppercut is really good poke in lane. Let's this is not too late to add another category. Poke. If we are able to outpoke our opponents, we will probably win the lane as long as we don't take a bad trade. Right? So, fuck it. Let's add poke. So now, in order to be in these A plus tiers, A to S, S plus, you know what I'm saying? You're going to need 3 out of 6 of these, in my mind. There are going to be exceptions, but maybe they're not. But, let's just get straight into the next S plus tier one. Fine gun. Really good built-in sustain with his 3. Fine movement with his 2. Really good punishing ability with his 1-3 combo. Really good burst with his 1. And, like, fine poke. Like, this is a definition really good laner. Built-in sustain, really hard to punish ability, and really the ability that is hard to punish has insane burst potential. And on top of it, if you're buying melee lifesteal, which most abilities are, you're getting sustain on top of it. You're getting sustain. A very, very strong laner. Next up, we have Calico, where I'm going to be putting her straight into B tier. Now, you're probably thinking, Calico has pretty similar abilities to Billy, where like her 2 is a melee ability that can proc lifesteal. Her 1 is like a little bit of extra burst, kind of like the 1-3 combo on Billy, 1-3-1 combo. But Calico, 1 is pretty squishy, needs to invest pretty heavily into the greens in order to like actually take fights in lane. And 2, she just kind of has an ability that does nothing in lane. Like Cat is really good to enable her to get to other places which aren't the lane, if that makes sense. So it's really good for her farming boxes. Notably not as good as it used to be, but still is really good. Ava just, it kind of makes it so that Calico doesn't want to participate in lane. And now you can, but yeah. So let's do the checklist for her, I guess. Like fine gun, no built-in sustain, but life strike is fine. Her movement, like, doesn't actually exist in lane. Her movement is only her 2, which is like pretty fine. Like, if anything, it's even. No ability can really punish an opponent for being out of position or anything. She has good burst and no poke. Like, this is the difference between an A tier and a B tier laner in my mind. Let's compare that to Celeste, an S plus tier laner. Probably one of the best roamers in the game as well. You can roam lane or wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 on her and just have no punish. Bad gun. Now, it's a bad gun, but it's also a fine gun because it doesn't have fall off, which is pretty relevant sometimes in lane. Built-in sustain on 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Movement innate to the character. Punish, like, not really. The silence could count, but not an insane amount of punish. Insane amount of burst once you get that. Once you get a bunch of 3 stacks and you're 1, ooh, you can be doing an insane amount of burst. And because of what we said before, the no damage fall off, she does have a lot of poke in lane. On top of this, being able to traverse the entire map at minute 2, the second that boxes spawn, very, very strong laner. Doorman, I originally had pretty low in my mind, but I think I'm going to put Doorman in B tier. Strong gun, really big bullet hitbox. Then no sustain built in. Actually has movement in his kit. Cart is like a fine punishing ability. Not a lot of burst because you're realistically not putting a lot of points into Bell, but really good poke with Bell. So I can't like see a character with 3 things that are really strong, and naturally put him any lower than B tier. Drifter, S tier. Fine gun, good sustain. Now, in comparison to Calico, the reason that his 1 is better sustained than Calico's 2 is because his kit naturally wants him to be in that range. Like, Calico dashing in to an opponent, think if a Calico dashes into a Drifter. Who's going to win the 1v1 in lane with no minions there, right? It's wave 1, it's a 1v1. Calico unlocks 2, Drifter unlocks 1. It's not going to go well for the Calico. Unless she can get a parry or something. Like, it's going to be pretty hard. Pretty hard. Now, Drifter kind of has movement with his Stalker's Mark. People aren't really doing, like, the lineup thing that they were when he dropped. He has fine punish, but I'll put an X for it. Like, if you're able to get somebody isolated, really, really good laning potential of just shitting on somebody. And he has really good burst with his 1. Really good burst with his 1. And actually, really good poke. And now, for the memes, we have Dynamo. Let's look at Dynamo's chart here. Bad gun. Bad sustain. Now, you know, you could do even sustain, but it makes you drop your gun, makes it so that you can't jump. Like, just, it's a bad ability. We'll say fine movement. Fine movement. Quantum Entangle is good in some lanes. Good for getting an opponent who's, or a teammate who's parried out of the way, stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know. No punish, no burst. Like, stop is like, what, 80 damage? And, like, barely scales in lane? Yeah, no thank you. And no poke, because bad gun normally equals bad poke. Not necessarily true 100% of the time. Characters like Holliday, you know, have crack shot that is, like, really good poke, and her gun's, like, fine in lane. Graves I'm going to put in B tier. So now, the reason that Graves is here doesn't really exist on the chart, it's because her good matchups are really good. So when she's in, like, the brawlier lanes, she does really well into them, especially when she's partnered with a strong lane partner. She does really well into shutting down the brawlier lanes, especially if people are building her correct, which I don't know if they are. Like resto shot, 100% resto shot uptime, insane. Just recharging rush or whatever the hell it's called is really, really strong on her. Just spamming jars. Her 2 is such a strong, like, shutdown control ability. But there are characters that will just ignore it, like Haze, like Vindicta, like Great Talon, like Pocket, that just, you know, they go in, they do their thing and get out, or they poke from a range and it just doesn't matter. It is, they're completely outranging the Graves. So let's look at Graves. Fine gun, right? But good gun. Why? Because we have 100% uptime on resto shot. We have, like, realistically, if you're buying Mystic Shot, like, whatever, but your gun is also part of your kit, being able to shut down other people's guns. Very strong, very strong. No built-in sustain, but we'll put, like, a tiny check mark because of the 100% uptime on resto shot. Bad movement. 2-stam character, good punish. Really good punish. For 2, that wall, very, very strong for shutting down opponents.
Yeah, like I'd miss my chance to summon a god.
Flipping your wall like this, controlling the entire center of a lane. So strong. Highly underestimated. No burst. No burst whatsoever. And no poke. So, arguably, she could be A tier because of how strong wall is and how much, like, decent damage. Like, it's not poke or sustain, or poke or burst. Jar isn't burst nor poke. It's just kind of like this sustained amount of damage. That's pretty easy to shut down, but also, like, you can play the mind games on her too, where it's just like, you know that they're gonna melee your jar, so you get in their face and parry. I've done that before. Very, very strong. Great Talon is going into A simply because of how many times I've had a Great Talon just arrow me for 500 every time I peek, and I'm just permanently at 200 HP. It's just not fun, not enjoyable. Fine gun, no sustain, decent movement. On her 2, also just a 4-stam character. No punish. I guess, like, Spirit Trap is fine. Really good burst. Really good burst. Not her 3, her 1. And really good poke with the 2. So this is another time where, like, a gun can be bad, but poke can be good. Haze is going into A tier. Now, mustache, why is Haze A tier?
My services are needed once more.
Lane. Guys, the left lane exists. Now, you might be asking, what's in the left lane? Let me show you. The church angle. Guys, the church angle is so broken. You literally sit here and you go bop, 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 reload, bop, 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 reload. Oh no, the wave's here. Bop, 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 get the wave. Okay, now I go back here. Bop, 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 bop. I buy active reload. Okay. Bop, 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 bop. And they can't contest you. They just can't. They just can't. The charge angle is so broken. Absolutely the best angle in the entire video game. Good gun. Not really sustain. Active reload exists. Yeah. No movement. Good punish. Sleep very strong. Sleep very strong. Like, not really burst, but like kind of burst with sleep. And a really good poke with fixation, especially on the church angle. Especially on the church angle. One thing that I haven't really talked about in this, but is worth mentioning, is 4.8k investment spikes. Apollo, Spirit Spike, strongest Spirit Spike in the game. Haze, Gun Spike, one of the strongest gun spikes in the game. I'm even considering putting Haze in S tier. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I think Haze is a strong laner, and you can hate me. You can hate me. Holliday. Holliday is like a completely average laner. Fine gun, no sustain, really good movement. Especially because you're buying rapid recharge. Fine punish. Once she gets lasso is good punish. Fine burst with barrel and whatever the hell else it's called. And decent poke because of crack shot and barrels. But just overall like a fine character with a lot of movement. And it's the same thing as Calico, where if your character doesn't want to be in lane, I can't put you higher than B tier. Like, in Night Shift, they're playing Holliday, and Goober, he plays mid lane, and then he goes, okay, see you later, Mirage. I'm going to go do boxes until I'm as strong as the other people. And then Mirage sits there and he goes, okay, I'm going to get really strong now. And is that because Mirage is an S+ tier laner? Maybe, but, it's still relevant. If your character's not in the laning phase, normally I can't bother putting you higher than B tier. There's one exception to this rule, and we will see it. Infernus is fine. I think he is worse than Haze in lane, honestly. He has a fine gun. Afterburn's really where the strength comes from on the gun, which, is a part of the gun, is ability. We'll just leave this as that for now. We'll put a 3 here. Like, really no sustain in lane. Like, actually 0 sustain built into his kit. Good movement with freaking flame dash, right? With his 2. Like, fine punish because if somebody overextends with your 2 and 3 and your 1, you can, like, actually just blow them up. Speaking about blowing them up, it's like good burst. It's like fine burst, actually. Like, it's actually not burst at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't know. And then poke. Good poke. Good poke because of Afterburn. And now you're looking at this and you're probably like, Mustache, don't you think that he could be a little bit higher? Yeah, he could probably be higher on the higher end of S tier, or A tier, lower end of S tier. Another thing that is very strong about Infernus in lane is his level 2. Once he unlocks Flame Dash, if you have this extra spirit item when you unlock Flame Dash, you do this, you steal the enemy's camp, and you're gone. You can actually do it. What? Why didn't these ones die? That one did. That's weird. Also, those are 37 minutes your ones, so it's a little bit different. But do that, you can hit the wave, and then you can just slide out here, if you're fucking movement tech, you can wall bounce here or whatever, I don't know. But very, very strong at 2 minutes to be able to steal your opponent's tier 1 camp on right lane. Being able to make a little bit of a swing in souls on a lane that's supposed to be 1 for the enemy. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Ivy's A tier because sustain, 2 and 3 work really well in conjunction together, right? Being able to heal your teammate with your stone form, you know, it's like a whatever effect. Nova Rush, whatever. Like, who cares if you're buying a 3200 to sustain your teammate in lane? But heal creep, killing the heal creep and spreading it with her 2 is so much sustain. She has a pretty good gun, 4 stam, so natural amount of movement, good punish with her stone form, no burst, decent poke with her Katsu, which is also really good wave clear. Ivy is by far an S tier laner. Kelvin's like kind of trash in lane, man. Like fine gun, kind of built-in sustain, but you need tier 2 nade. Kind of built-in movement, but Ice Path kind of sucks. No punish until you get ult. No burst really until no, like there just really isn't burst. And then like a fine poke with beam, like just like these are check marks, but they're not really check marks. You know what I mean? Fine character. Geist, S tier. Good gun, good sustain with 2, and Malice with 2 and 3. This is with Mystic regen. Hopefully I'll remember to put all the items up here. I don't have them saved anymore because I freaking factory reset my computer. But not good movement, not good punish, good burst with bomb and Malice stacks, 13, and really good poke with Malice. Like just overall really, really, really strong. And like Lash is the exception to the rule of if you don't want to be in lane, that you're not a strong laner, because he is a strong laner. His gun, perfectly fine. Ian, arguably a check mark. I won't do it. I won't give it to him. Sustain, yes, sir. 3. Movement, yes, sir. 2. Punish, yes, sir. The ground slam and ult. Burst, yes, sir. 1 and 3 kind of in conjunction are his burst. And like, not really poke, right? Lash, very, very strong character of just bursting the hell out of somebody in lane and then getting the fuck out. So now,
a fun little fact.
Lash's best lane.
And then I saw Bebop do an uppercut.
I don't agree with.
Right then and there that
Most people think that the Lash's best lane is yellow lane, left lane, for 2 reasons. 1, natural amount of high ground up here. There's just so much high ground that you can play around. I don't know if you can stand on this lamp. Maybe you can. Let me see. I suck. No, it doesn't seem as if you can. If you can, let me know in the comments below. Okay, whatever. Left lane Lash. Specifically, left yellow lane Lash. So, hitting king left lane. Very strong for 2 reasons. Natural amount of high ground. And control of the of the tier 1 camp, right? Not having to use an ability or a lot of stamina to get into your enemy's tier 1. Now, I believe Lash's best lane is mid lane. Now you might be saying, Mustache, there's literally 0 high ground since the update that you can play around, because you take lightning damage up here now. And you're right, but if you start slam, shove the wave, and then you run over here, you take this, you hit the little bop, dash, bop, 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 and then you end up here. Then you go bop, bop, and then you slam somebody for 200 HP, level 1. Your team should probably win that lane. Probably. It's just gonna be how it happens. And now I know I said, oh, roamers don't mean good laners, but Lash can like you can just be back and still be putting pressure, because you're probably gonna go 1 point slam, 2 points flog, and you're still going to have a lot of pressure in the mid lane where you're just out-sustaining your opponents and constantly being everywhere else. I think mid lane very strong for Lash. But left lane also, yeah, it's good. It's good for him. It's good for him. McGinnis is a weird one, right? Because before we rate her, let's look at these. Really good gun, built-in sustain, really bad movement, really good punish. So this is her 2, this is her heal, and this is her wall. That is really good punish. No burst. And like fine poke with turret, I guess. Like, so now I'm looking at this and like, if a character has good sustain, good punish, and a good gun, like I probably want to put them in S tier, next to the Haze, next to the Ivy, next to the Geist. But I think I can put McGinnis higher than A tier. I think lane is McGinnis' strongest part of her game, and it's not even that good. I don't know. Like, her gun is good. If you guys think McGinnis should be higher, let me know down in the comments below. I don't know if I can justify it. Let's do this. Characters. Characters that start with MI. Here we have a new tier that I just added. This just in, characters that start with MI. I think these are the 2 most oppressive laners in the fucking game. Just so unfun to play against their on hits. Like, and that's just not even it, right? Let's go through Mina first, right? Let's go through Mina. Piss poor gun. But love bites. Right? So, like, it's probably about even. Sustain? Yup. Rake heals so much. So much. And then even in the sustain, we can put 2. Because bats, you know, it doesn't actually heal you, but yeah, I mean, it just gets you out for fucking free. Movement, speaking about getting out for fucking free. Bats. Yup. Bats. Punish. Yeah, punish is fine. Like, Rake is pretty good punish for low HP, and her ult ends up being good punish for people out of position. Burst. Yup. 1 and 3. Especially in conjunction. And poke. Yup. You know why? Because the love fight has on-hit spirit damage for some reason, instead of just being a big burst, because they couldn't make it the same character as Mirage, who has all of these same abilities. Like, let's see. Okay, let's look at this. Mirage, in comparison to Mina, his gun is fine, but the 3 makes it really good. Sustain, yes, really good with his 1. Movement, yes, with his 2. Punish, really good punish with his ult, or with his scarabs and his tornado, rather than his rake and his ult. Burst, really good burst with scarabs and 3. Poke, really good poke with his 3. And also in sustain, we can put 3 because Mystic Regen procs. So, they're like essentially the same character. They're like essentially the same character that is just like super strong because of all of the shit that they do in lane. It's just not fair. Not fair whatsoever. Alright, I'm in Palmer's chat. I gotta ask him where he ranks Mo. Okay, I just asked Palmer. He says D or C tier in Infernus. Let's go over why, right? Piss poor gun. Has sustain. Scorn, really good sustain, right? Has movement a little bit with Burrow, right? Now, no punish, no burst, and no poke. 1 out of 6. And as he said, he gets bullied. Bullied. Absolutely wrecked in lane. Huge head hitbox. Just get shit on. It's the same as Dynamo. This is why these characters are bad in lane. It's just true. It's just the truth. I like the characters. They're fun designs, but like, oh, what the fuck? They just get bullied. It's just how it is. Paige, S tier, S plus tier. Now, support, right? Paige is a support character. Really good gun. Really good sustain. With defend and fight. Not great movement. Actually, let's put the X for movement. She has 2 stamina, no abilities give her movement. Really piss poor movement. Insane punish with her 3. Insane burst with her 3. And her gun in conjunction with her 2. And insane poke with her 2 in conjunction with her gun. Right? So a Paige in lane starts barrier, either puts the barrier on herself and just out damages you because she has the highest base gun damage in the game, or puts her barrier on her Warden, her Billy, her Drifter, her Apollo, her Celeste, her Lash when he goes in the slam. Like, it's a barrier that boosts gun damage that also is just a barrier. And then she has the best gun damage on top of it. And she just roots people on cooldown. If you have any combo with it, like Haze, Stone Form, even Billy one's a little bit of a combo with it. Lash Slam, Warden Flask plus Cage, Abrams Pin, Bebop Hook, Bebop Uppercut. Like, anything that combos with her 3, you just instantly win the lane. Now, actually broken laner. Arguably starts with MI. Paige starts with MI. Like, dude. Like, actually might be the best laner in the game. Paradox. Let's look at it. Fine gun. No built-in sustain. No built-in movement. Good punish. Really good punish. Honestly. Her carbine plus her bomb. Insane punish. Insane punish. Which leads to insane burst with her carbine plus her 3 combo. Right? And then pretty piss poor poke. I will have to say, pretty piss poor poke. This is a really hard one to rate because she's just average in everything that she does. And then on top of it, dude, and then she gets fucking swap late game. 4 in conjunction with 2, right? Right? And that also leads down into burst. So, I want to put her in the bottom of A tier. These aren't rated, but she's like bottom of A, top of B. It's still just alphabetical order. Pocket is the most matchup-dependent laner of all time. If he has a squishy lane that doesn't have a lot of spirit damage against him, he is like immediately like an S tier laner. But if he has anything that has natural ways to shut him down, he just needs to kind of AFK in lane. Let's put him in B tier, right? He actually has a good gun. Pocket has a very, very good gun. No built-in sustain, good built-in movement, really good built-in punish with his damage amp plus the rest of his abilities, right? Really good burst with, you know, his 2+3 plus cold front combos, right? That kind of thing. And then he kind of has poke with his 1 and with his, nope, not his 3, his 2. Separate, right? So that kind of leads him to be this S tier laner. But because of the negative base spirit resist, it's really, really hard to play him into some lanes. So let's just, I'm gonna put him in S tier. I think he's a really strong laner. It's just that he has really bad matchups. I know I did the opposite for Graves, but I think Pocket's strong. I don't know. Rem S tier laner. So Rem has all of the benefits of the Kelvin and the Dynamo with none of the downsides, right? His gun is actually good. His gun's good. 13, 12 bullets, whatever, you're buying headshot booster and you're actually putting out pressure in lane with your gun. Really good built-in sustain, right? So sustain is his 2 and his 3, giving heals and spirit resist to teammates and minions, respectively. And I don't know why I said respectively. That's not how you use that. Now, he doesn't really have movement, but he does have his 2, which can get him out of some precarious situations. He has fine punish with no. Because the way that I'm doing punish, helpers on wave is so punishing for the opponent. It's actually very, very hard to deal with. He has no burst, and decent poke with his gun, and pillow is like completely average poke. Pillow's like actually like probably low tier poke, but good gun on a support, right? Good gun, insane sustain without the downside of Dynamo and without the downside of Kelvin. Sustain is level 1 like Dynamo, but he doesn't put himself at risk. And then you don't have to level up like unlike Kelvin. And then helpers just punish lane very hard. Rem is a very strong laner. 7 is arguably a good laner. I could argue for putting 7 higher than where I'm putting him, but let's look at the chart. Let's look at the chart. Fine gun. Gets okay with his 3, which we'll talk about later. No sustain, no movement. Iffy punish, right? He has stun, and I guess ult eventually, right? It's good area denial in lane. No burst. I don't know why I'm doing dashes when I'm saying no. Hopefully you guys know what I mean. And like, good poke with 3 and 1. And then on top of it, he has a fat headshot hitbox. You like my little 7 picture? Look at him, bro. Look at how fat his headshot is. He has this fat head, and then a fat hat that's the fucking headshot hitbox too. Just so easy to piss on in lane. Shiv, S tier, high S tier, not S plus tier, high S tier. Let's talk about why. Fine gun, right? It's okay. No built-in sustain is what you think, but he has blood flooding, which is natural built-in sustain. Insane movement with right click with his gun, right? Doesn't really have punish, right? Until he unlocks ult, right? Really good burst, right? Knife, dash, cold front, right? His dash plus cold front combo is pretty good. Same thing with a lot of different characters where cold front's a good early pickup. We won't put the cold front here, but he has pretty good burst with like knife dash combo, dash light melee, bunch of different things. And then he has really good poke, right? With knife. Just overall makes him a very, very strong laner. On top of him being so fucking beefy. Man just never dies, right? Because of this bloodletting. He just doesn't die. He's not allowed. Not allowed. I keep erasing poke. Now, Silver's whole thing is that she doesn't get strong until she gets her ult, right? She's a 2-stam character, really slow firing gun, but her gun is good. And her stam, she has movement. She has her 2. And you know, she has good base HP as well as a melee on hit ability, which, you know, people rush life strike on. So her 2's good, and then she has good punish because her bola stops people, and then she has insane burst because of her 1, then she doesn't have poke, right? So she's like an S tier laner. Dude, Silver is so strong in lane, and I'm tired of people trying to say that she isn't. Like, insane burst, really good punish with bola, which is an auto hit off of your fucking 2, by the way.
Why does this have to be
If
the
you
one
hit
thing
your
I'm good
second
at?
ability, you're hitting your bola because you're right there. And then on top of it, for punish, you can kick people into your team. You can kick people into your team. Like, yes, good burst. Is I'm level 1 right now. 182 damage. What other character? That's without headshots, by the way. This ability can
I
headshot,
had this under control.
right? What other hero can do 240 damage on base? Apollo, which is an S tier character, right? Does 180.
If you need my
Celeste with a bunch of like 1 spams after hitting a 1.
No turning back.
Like, so no, Silver's S +2. Dude, Regeki is like the only person that plays Sinclair, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like Sinclair. Okay, we'll humor the Sinclair. Fine gun, pretty piss poor gun actually. No sustain, good movement, good punish with bunny, good burst, good poke. Okay, he's an S tier. Let's talk about why. No sustain. I guess 2 can be kind of sustain. Like, you can use it as a good movement ability. 2, good movement, good punish with bunny, good burst with your 1+2 combo, right? And good poke with just your 1. Venator is a completely average laner. Good gun, no sustain, no movement. Like, I know the 2 does knockback, but it's not real. Like, okay punish with 3 and 2. Pretty good burst with 1 and 2. Right? Not necessarily a combo, so I don't know why I put them together. And then, like, not great poke. Like, his 1 pokes pretty well. Good at getting people out from certain positions and stuff, but overall, I'd say he's just a fine laner. I think Victor has fallen off in the laning phase, like, exponentially. I think he's, like, fine, if not, like, horrible. Now, okay. Let's talk about something right now. Let me raise you guys a scenario of a Mina Mirage lane versus a Kelvin Victor lane. Who do you think wins that lane? Right? On paper, off my tier list, Mina and Mirage win, right? Because they have all of these things that Victor and Kelvin don't. But if Victor and Kelvin play a lane correctly by not interacting with these guys, and then the second that they both get ult, they go, okay, we fight now. They will win the lane 100% of the time. As long as they don't get punished for being stupid. Okay, let's talk about Victor. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in the video, but we'll see. Piss poor gun. Like, fine sustain with 2, right? Fine movement with 2. Not great punish. Honestly, like, bad punish, right? Good burst with 1. And, like, no poke. Victor, hence, C tier. Vindicta? Vindicta. Dude, I don't know. Like, Vin's tough. Let's consult the graph before talking about her. How about that? Good gun because of flight, right? This is the one of the times where, like, I will count this, right? No sustain, no built-in sustain. She has movement, right, with flight, but if you're using flight for movement, that's bad, right? We don't want to be using flight for movement. So, no movement. 2-stam character. Bad. Punish. Really good punish with stake and flight, right? If a character is doing things that they shouldn't be doing, stake will make sure that they stay there. I don't know why I can't draw a freaking circle. Maybe it's because my 1 looks stupid. Yeah, there we go. Now it looks like a 2. So yeah, and then like these can be in conjunction with each other. They don't have to be, but you know, non-moving target's easier to hit than a moving target. Not great burst until we get ult, right? The second that we get ult, check marks all around. We have insane burst. And Vindicta has some of the best poke in the game, right? With flight. Flight means poke, 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 poke. Annoy the fuck out of your opponents. Can't put her any lower than A tier. I don't think she has like the insane burst potential that a lot of these laners do. If you notice, that's kind of what makes a good laner good. Whereas like, you know, Haze doesn't have that, but she has like really good M1 angles. Viscous changes from B tier to S plus tier depending on what the Viscous meta is, right? His gun is naturally good, right? Has built-in sustain, has built-in movement, has built-in punish, has built-in burst, and has built-in poke, right? So naturally you want to put him in S plus tier, right? Let's go over why. Now, gun meta Viscous is a little bit harder to lane with, where like you're not really getting these. You really want to greed your items, essentially, is why Viscous becomes a poor laner when it's gun Viscous meta. But let's talk about it. Gun just is a naturally good gun. Good fire rate. Right click is really good for harass, right? Sustain. He has his cube. And eventually his ult, right? Cube can be used on yourself or teammates, which is really good. Movement. 3, his puddle punch, insane movement, right? And then on top of it, it's a harass ability. It's a movement and a harass ability. And like, sure, it's parryable, but like, unless you're E6, nobody's parrying every single one, right? And then we're gonna talk about how the 3 is insane punish, right? And then also the 2 is good punish because if you're laning Mo into Viscous, Dynamo into Viscous, you need to hit the Viscous. Or he's going to punish your ult or whatever one of your abilities that you hit the other person with. He's just going to 2 them. He's just going to cube them. Good burst. 2 points into 1. Insane burst in conjunction with the 3, right? Both on their own are good burst, but in conjunction, it's an insane amount of damage. And then he just has right click for good poke, right? Overall, really good laner, but he doesn't have the unfair things that these characters have, right? He's probably the top of S plus tier, but he doesn't have the unfair things that these characters have, including like Apollo. I don't know how I feel about Apollo. We'll see. Vyper, probably somewhere around B tier. Let's look. Gun, yeah, she has a really, really high base DPS gun. Sustain, no built-in sustain. Good movement, not really good punish until we get the ult, right? And her movements are 3. Good burst early on with 2. Actually, an insane amount of burst, especially with 1. And like fine poke with the 1. So now we have 2 check marks, 3 check marks. So somewhere in B to A tier is probably correct. And I think A tier is fine. I think A tier is really fine for her. Let's get into the last of some of the better characters. Probably not Wraith, but Warden is a really strong laner. Fine gun, pretty good gun, right? No built-in sustain, you think. But he has barrier built in on his kit. No movement, unlucky. Good punish with 1+3 combo, or comboing it with other characters' root or other abilities in the lane. Abrams pin, Bebop hook, whatever else, right? Doesn't really have good burst. 1 is good burst, but it's like not that great, right? And then he has really good poke. He's constantly throwing flasks, which are annoying, and constantly just berating with his gun, right? We talk about good gun normally equals good poke. So, hence, I don't think he's S plus tier. I'm thinking specifically of Paige Warden. I think he's probably a better laner than Vyper, probably a better laner than Vindicta. let's talk about Wraith here. Wraith, her gun is completely fine. She has no built-in sustain. Fine built-in movement. I'll give her good with the 2. Like, not really punish until we're getting our ultimate, right? Not really burst except with card. And then we have good poke because of R3, right? We're able to constantly exude pressure with our 3, constantly exude pressure with our 1. And of course, let's put our 1 in poke because it's more of a poke ability than a burst ability. But, you know, if it's in a combo with something, like, it's not, I don't know. It's not a burst ability. I don't know why I put that there. So, no sustain, fine gun, no burst, no punish until we get ult. I think this just means that she's a B tier. Like, it's pretty similar to the Venator, pretty similar to the Holliday. Worse than the Paradox because Paradox's kit works so well within itself. Last up, we have Yamato. Yamato is a very strong laner, right? Now, Yamato is a spirit burst character, so naturally she's going to have good burst, right? And you'd say, oh, well, she's a spirit character, so there's no way she has a good gun. Her right click is so fucking strong. She has sustain, right? Now, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the tier list where we had a lot of these melee characters that were buying a life strike, so we're putting them higher in the sustain category because they're buying life strike. Yam's not buying life strike. Yam's buying resto shot and has essentially the same uptime that Graves does, right? Movement, not really. Like, grapple, technically, but you're never really going to be using it as a movement ability. Punish, Yam doesn't really have good punish, right? She has, once again, the grapple. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stupid. Yam 3 heals. So, insane sustain there, too. She doesn't really have punish. Okay, I'm lost. I'm just going to start talking about burst now. Really good burst. Power slash, 145 damage level 1, I think. You know, it's no silver. It's no Apollo, but it's a very strong burst ability early on if you hit it fully charged. And then really good poke once again with the right click, which is constantly proccing resto shot. So, you know, these go hand in hand and these go hand in hand, if you recall. Yam is just overall a very strong laner. All right, guys, that was it for the laning phase tier list. This is future me looking back, so I am looking at maybe some characters could have been moved around, like McGinnis and Rem, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how I did. Let me know how happy you are with me down in the comments below. Thank you guys for staying to the end, and I've got some more videos coming out, some guide type stuff, and hopefully, you know, I'll keep climbing. Here I am, 893 now, and this is actually a different account, but shit, man. Even me even further into the future. I forgot to say peace.